Luofeng's 6-year-old daughter distorted the meaning of Hans Christian Andersen's fairy tales at school and confidently claimed that her father taught her. So, the Chinese teacher decided to visit this father at home and see what exactly it was teaching children so recklessly. As a result, when he arrived home, Luo Feng's writer vest was exposed one by one. Published, The Emperor's New Clothes, and The Little Match Girl, in junior high school published, King Arthur, and Game of Thrones, in high school university publishes, Romance of the Three Kingdoms, and Dream of the Yellow Chamber, graduated and published, Notes on Tomb Robbery, and Ghost Blows the Lamp, is The Three-Body Problem, currently being serialized. The beautiful teacher was foolish. He was still teaching his classmates the meaning of fairy tales during a home visit, but he didn't expect to meet the original author directly. In an instant, the entire network was shocked. Net friend, are you still involved in human resources, Luo Feng? You can just write it, why change your pen name? Do you know how fiercely fans of Tomb Raider Notes and Ghost Blows Out the Light have been arguing over the years? Now on the list of writers and billionaires, all you have is your pen name. This book is also known as Scoring My Daughter Zero. Visiting My Home. When the question setter meets the original author. The scene is extremely awkward. Keywords of the novel. Academic scum being interviewed at home, father unexpectedly becoming a literary giant without pop-ups, academic scum being interviewed at home, father unexpectedly becoming a literary giant. Download complete text, academic scum being interviewed at home, father unexpectedly becoming a literary giant. Latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. Literary Masters. Hidden in the City. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Literary Masters. Hidden in the City. Dad. Tuan, have you been left by the teacher to do your homework again? Daughter. Yes, Dad, come and deliver lunch to me quickly. Tuan is starving. Dad. Okay, your mother is doing it and will send it to you later. Daughter. Dad, has Mom come back? Dad. Daughter. So Dad, can I sleep with you today? Dad. Tuan, it's not possible. Your mother finally came back. I have something very important to discuss with her. Daughter. Are you charging me a phone bill to give me a younger brother? Hear this. Huang Meiji, who was beside Luo Feng, couldn't bear to listen anymore. She glanced at her husband and said, Tell your daughter to mess around all day. That woman has a tall and slender figure. Protruding at the front and tilting at the back. Grasp with a slender waist. Invincible development. Black long straight hair, big long legs straight and flawless, a standard top-notch goddess. Huang Meiji got angry with her husband and took the phone, saying, Tuan, do your homework well at school, and try not to be left behind in the future. Your father will bring you delicious food later. Knowing Mom, Tuan will be obedient. My husband has worked hard. The food has been packed and sent to Tuan. Drive slowly. After you leave, I also have to go back to work in Guangdi. Huang Meiji skillfully packed the box, looking at her husband with love in her eyes. Although the two are married in a different place. But we are both very happy. My husband also understands me very well and did not let me leave a promising company. Well, I'm going right now. Hurry up and have a husband from your family. As soon as Luo Feng finished speaking, there was a hint of coldness on his side face. He then smiled with satisfaction and walked lightly out of the house. Of course. My wife now knows nothing about her true identity. At the age of 9, Luo Feng published children's books such as The Emperor's New Clothes and The Little Match Girl. At the age of 14, Luo Feng successively published books such as King Arthur and Game of Thrones. At the age of 18, Luo Feng has republished works such as Harry Potter, Wandering Earth, and more. At the age of 22, Luo Feng reached a small peak in his life and published historical novels such as Romance of the Three Kingdoms, Dream of the Yellow Chamber, Journey to the West, and Water Margin, which were rated as the four great classics of the new generation. In the past few years since Luo Feng got married, Emperor Do Xiaoyan and Sea King Tang San were also completed last year. The current masterpiece, Three-Body Problem, is currently being serialized. Countless people want to know who wrote these shocking books in the literary world. However, Pifu is innocent and harbors a guilty conscience. After writing so many books, Luo Feng naturally kept a low profile and didn't even tell his wife. Find a long-distance marriage. Of course, it was intentional by Luo Feng. However, Luo Feng does not intend to keep it hidden. When the time is ripe, I will naturally tell my wife. Luo Feng knew that his wife was also a talented liberal arts student at a key university, and whenever he talked about the authors of those three bodies, he also worshipped them to death. Even Luo Feng can imagine. If I had told her my identity, my wife is probably going to kneel down and sing to conquer, right? At that time, we will definitely arrange for Confucius to travel around various countries. After Luo Feng left home to deliver food to his daughter Huang, Meiji narrowed her beautiful eyes and immediately sent a text message to a person named Zhao Fubao on her phone, saying, "Come in quickly, my husband is out." Zhao Fubao replied to the text message, "Finally left. Come on." Of course. This is definitely not some mistress Huang Meiji found. How could she possibly cheat? Zhao Fubao is the head of a program called Exploration of Separation. This program team is specifically looking for couples who have long-distance marriages. Take exploring the loyalty of the separated partner as the starting point. Huang Meiji naturally felt at ease with her dear husband and agreed to record the program, with a cost of 200,000 yuan. Of course, it's also because Huang Meiji is so beautiful that she's worth this price. As long as the female guests are beautiful, that's the traffic of the program team. Therefore, Huang Meiji, who works as a copywriter in a listed company in a different location, took a leave to cooperate with the program team in recording programs. Of course, since it's a separation to explore the other half, Luo Feng definitely wouldn't know. Soon, the members of the production team naturally gathered at the doorstep of Luo Feng's house. Is anyone there? Vote for some monthly tickets for the poor little sister. Thank you. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Is your husband the author of Online Poker Street? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Is your husband the author of Online Poker Street? Responsible person. Zhao Fubao. Host. Teacher He. Permanent guests of the program. Lu Tianxian, Reba, and Yang Mi. There is this lineup available. It must be difficult even if this program is not popular. Of course, at this moment, Huang Meiji stands in front of a few celestial beings, not even a fraction of a point away. This kind of Huang Meiji. 200,000 yuan for the program team. The flowers are really worth it. Teacher He, three immortals, let me introduce you. This is the female guest of this episode, named Huang Meiji. Zhao Fubao, the person in charge, first introduced her. Hello Teacher He, three heavenly fairy sisters. Huang Meiji was also very excited. These four people were extremely popular in the entertainment industry. It was so exciting to meet them for the first time. Hello, Mrs. Huang. Four people greeted in unison. Miss Huang Meiji, have we started installing cameras in the room now? Of course. Since it's exploring the other half. That must have a camera. And they are all masters of disguise, with cameras installed that are basically invisible to men. Alright, except for the bedroom and bathroom, cameras have been installed in all corners of the room. Now the program can start broadcasting. Under the command of the person in charge. The live broadcast room instantly opens. The barrage also flew wildly. There seemed to be quite a few people watching the live broadcast. Oh. The female guest of this episode. Are you really beautiful? A few days ago, when I was promoting it, I thought it was a image, but now when I watch the live broadcast, I believe it. Unfortunately, the person I once had a crush on has now married into a woman. It's not a pity, it's not a pity. Although the Chow thief died, the style of Wei's martial arts still exists. The popularity of the live broadcast room. Because of such a beautiful female guest, it naturally skyrocketed from 50,000 to over 80,000, with no intention of stopping the momentum. Mrs. Huang, now you can introduce your husband to everyone. Teacher He, as the host, naturally wants to drive the progress of the program. If it were my husband, he would definitely be the best husband in the world. Although he only writes novels at home and only earns over 6,000 yuan per month, the payment account is filled in with my bank account. I only need to transfer an additional 10,000 yuan, which is basically enough for my daughter and his life. Of course, my husband is very frugal and spends most of his money on his daughter's education and life. Married for 6 years, although the two are married in a different place, Huang Meiji has 100 beliefs in her husband's character. Does this production team want to explore loyalty? Hee. What can be explored? Oh my goodness. What the hell is this? I thought Mrs. Huang was so beautiful. His husband must be a big boss, right? That's it, just an online street poker author. How could you marry such a beautiful wife? So is this Luo Feng a wealthy second generation? Rich second generation bullshit, didn't you hear that? Luo Feng only pays 6,000 yuan per month for his articles. Does his wife have to pay 4,000 yuan back to pay for his father and daughter's living expenses? I know the street fighting author, they are all otaku in the house. They are old and ugly. And they are also bald. Don't be sour, since Mrs. Huang is so beautiful and can marry Luo Feng, it shows that the other party still has something. Yes, it must be a big thief. What are you guys talking about? I can't understand. I am an honest person, can you translate it? By the way, what kind of work did he write about his street-fighting internet husband? Go and read it. Farewell, it must be writing some trash online articles, the kind of brainless and forced slap in the face. Teacher He also saw the audience in the live broadcast room and seemed very interested in Luo Feng's works. He asked, Mrs. Huang, in line with the people's hearts, your husband's works. Is anyone there? Vote for some monthly tickets for the poor little sister. Thank you. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Luo Feng hanging wire. Can't match Huang Meiji. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. Luo Feng hanging wire. Can't match Huang Meiji. Oh, I'm too embarrassed to say that. He wrote those things, but his grades aren't very good. He spends 1,000 yuan a month on full-time work, and the combined fees from various channels barely exceed a few thousand. Although Huang Meiji felt embarrassed to say it. But everyone is so curious. That's it. Hulua vs Astro Boy, Zhang Fei crosses through to become Yu Fei, Chao Chao crosses through to become Wu Daoang, my girlfriend broke up and I received $300 billion in an instant. The audience saw these names. I'm going to laugh and pee. Of course, these street fighting works are just a cover-up on the surface of Luo Feng. What are all these names? Don't worry about it for now, I'll go read it. Shen Nong, everyone who tastes 100 herbs, hurry up and try reading, poison. That. I'm back. So quickly died from poisoning. That's not it. At the beginning, I broke up with my girlfriend and got a system slap. I just threw up. What an old trick is this? Don't worry, this guy has good writing skills, but the plot is too toxic to continue watching. What kind of hanging wire is this? It's just writing such a trash online article. People in the live broadcast room. At this moment, everyone is cheering. It is said that such a husband is not worthy of Huang Meiji. But now only Huang Meiji knows. What kind of suspension wire is my husband? He is very handsome. My husband will appear later. It will definitely amaze everyone suddenly. The person in charge spoke up and said, "Hurry up. Hurry up. Mrs. Huang's husband has brought food back for her daughter. The radar installed in the car is already shining. Asterisk caret caret asterisk, ladies and gentlemen, husbands, family, and big shots. Vote for some monthly tickets. Come and play in the group. Group ID, 6762092333, end of this chapter. Chapter 4. Home visits of excellent beauty teachers. Was it live streamed? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Home visits of excellent beauty teachers. Was it live streamed? At this moment, Luo Feng naturally parked an Audi A4 in the underground parking lot. Just now, when he went to school, he was scolded by his math teacher. Because the math teacher left her daughter to do homework. Luo Feng is really speechless. If it's for one's own child, Luo Feng's discipline is very open-minded, which is to learn everything according to fate. As for childhood life, it needs to be relaxed. When I was young, I was forced too much, but as I grew up, I became naive. After waiting for a while, after Luo Feng showcases his identity around the world, he needs to find a more open-minded school for his daughter. Mr. Luo, are you Luo Qiuqiu's father? I saw you at a parent-teacher meeting. Suddenly. At the entrance of the elevator in the community. A woman wearing black framed glasses and an intellectual beauty called out to Luo Feng. The woman's name is Lu Hanyan. Of course, the name of Tuan Tuan is Luo Qiuqiu. Ah. Are you the new Chinese teacher in Tuan Tuan's class? Luo Feng had an impression of her because she was quite beautiful and belonged to the goddess with a score of around 92. And my own wife. It must be above 95 points. Yes, I'm Mr. Luo. Hello. Do you live in this community? Why haven't I seen you before? Luo Feng politely greeted, "Hello, Teacher Lu. You're welcome, I only moved over a few weeks ago." After being polite, Lu Hanyan's face suddenly turned black. If it's convenient. Find a place to talk alone. Ah. Luo Feng was confused. Of course, the conversation is naturally about your daughter's affairs, Lu Hanyan continued with a stern expression. Home visit. But my daughter is at school and was kept by the math teacher. Luo Feng refused the other party's home visit. After all, the other party is so beautiful. If his wife knew about it, she would definitely have to think more. You don't need your daughter here, because what I want to talk about is your problem. Lu Hanyan stared at Luo Feng, her eyes full of dissatisfaction. My problem? What's my problem? I'm not studying. Luo Feng smiled and said in silence. Oh, if you family leaders are so indifferent, then I won't go either, said Lu Hanyan, as she was about to leave. Okay, but my wife is not at home. Speaking of which, Luo Feng Lu Hanyan was a bit hesitant, but thinking that Luo Qiuqiu, the child, had been seriously distorted by her father's education, she still said, "We are doing well and sitting steadily. These things don't need to be considered." Okay, come with me, Luo Feng nodded and agreed. No need to respectfully address you, said Lu Hanyan as a guest. Soon. Lu Hanyan didn't want her lunch break, but today she wants to completely solve Luo Qiuqiu's problem. Because of Luo Qiuqiu's family education, if not corrected, this child will be distorted. Not to mention anything else, let's just talk about those fairy tales. The teacher taught us to convey some virtues, but when it came to Luo Qiuqiu's mouth, she became a realist. Are you still saying that her dad told her? Does she believe her father is right? Attention all units. The male pig foot has appeared. As the crew leader shouted in the microphone. Today's highlight. It's also starting. Now Luo Feng has been completely exposed to his wife's participation in the program without his knowledge with a click. The door has been opened. Outside, a handsome young man walked in. He is about 182 tall. In terms of body shape, it can only be described in one sentence as looking thin when dressed and having flesh when taken off. It is obvious that clothes are being worn at this time. So it looks slimmer. This height. This handsome head shape. Plus this figure. A reliable male model. I'm so sore, it's like one shoulder fighting against one head. Why is there such a big gap between me and others? The same parts. When combined, one sells for 1.8 yuan. One sells for 1.8 yuan. So handsome. You have a good temperament. It seems like there's something there. There are some things, but so far, there aren't many. But then. Something even more explosive has emerged. A sexy and tall lady with black framed glasses and a height of around 170 appeared at the door. Asterisk caret caret asterisk, ladies and gentlemen, husbands, family, and big shots. Vote for some monthly tickets. Come and play in the group. Group ID, 6762092333, end of this chapter. Chapter 5. Did Luo Feng cheat? Is the other party a top-notch senior sister? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Did Luo Feng cheat? Is the other party a top-notch senior sister? Oh. Sleeping slot. What is this? What is Luo Feng doing? Wife just left in the front. Is there such a beautiful woman coming from behind? Luo Feng's lover. Don't guess randomly, let's take a look at the situation first. People in the live broadcast room. Anyway, I'm just looking foolish. Is this exploring the other half of separation? Did it explode like this from the beginning? Mrs. Huang, do you know this person? Who is she? Teacher. He was also a bit embarrassed. But from the program manager's side, laughter came from him, saying that this episode of the program was going to be popular. I don't know. Of course Huang Meiji doesn't know. She works in a different place and every parent-teacher meeting, it's always Luo Feng who goes there. How can she meet a Chinese teacher from any group? Teacher. He understood a bit. If the woman brought back by the man is not known by his wife, it is highly likely to be an improper relationship. Don't worry about so much for now, let's take a look. Yang Mi also stared at the live broadcast room to observe. Isn't Luo Feng satisfied with such a good wife? Is there still a way to flirt? Is it easy for a beautiful woman like Huang Meiji to find a billionaire? In addition, as a top student from a prestigious university, to be honest, Huang Meiji is not inferior to her milk tea sister solely in terms of her diploma and appearance. Did your wife really leave? After entering the room, Lu Hanyan was still worried for a moment. Although she had just forcefully stated that she was doing well and not worried about that. But when I actually arrived at Luofeng's house. And when two people are alone. She is still a little worried. Of course she left. She came back suddenly this time, accompanied me for a day, and then left again. It was really annoying, and Tuan Tuan also missed her. Luo Feng retorted that it was not Tuan Tuan, but his wife was leaving without enough comfort. He continued. Is Tuan Tuan the child okay? She's okay, it's you. Lu Hanyan didn't continue. As long as it's okay, I hope you take care of her more in the future. Luo Feng smiled and politely went to make coffee for the guests to drink. I will naturally take care of her, you can rest assured of this, and your wife can also rest assured, Lu Hanyan replied. But after this passage comes to an end. The live broadcast room is simply exploding. What does it mean? What does it mean? Is this third party already starting to figure out the child's problem? Take care of Tuan Tuan more. Is this the stepmother's rhythm? Sleeping trough. Amazing melon. It's so numb. Oh my goodness. What does this person mean? Even if he wants to find a lover or divorce, how can the man handle the child on his own? Stepmother is too scary, Tuan Tuan cannot follow stepmother. At this moment, Huang Meiji, upon hearing these conversations, felt a bit heartbroken, but it was also an instant. She couldn't doubt her husband just because of these few words, could she? A wife who trusts her husband in every way possible. Is this enough to shake things up? Why did you marry him back then? Mrs. Huang, don't worry first, take a look. Teacher, he comforted Huang Meiji by seeing her gloomy and sad expression. I'm not in a hurry, probably his friend, but I don't know him. And their words always sound like a teacher. Huang Meiji guessed. Teacher, he smiled noncommittally, where could a teacher be so beautiful? Although it does exist, it is rare. Luofeng, who was live-streamed by the camera, took a sip of tea and spoke slightly, are you and your wife living apart? What do you do? Asterisk caret caret asterisk, ladies and gentlemen, husbands, family, and big shots. Vote for some monthly tickets. Come and play in the group. Group ID, 6762092333, end of this chapter. Chapter 6. May I ask parents? How do you understand this fairy tale? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. May I ask parents? How do you understand this fairy tale? Faced with Lu Hanyan's question, Luo Feng said without any embarrassment, I'm just writing a novel at home. Oh. Writing novels at home. Lu Hanyan didn't quite understand online literature, and her eyes lit up as she said, what works have you written? Have you published them? Ah. Publishing and printing. Luo Feng smiled and said, that's an online article. It's only published if the grades are good enough to be like, Do Pe Tsang Chi. Generally, small online writers, how can they have the ability to publish? So what exactly did you write? Lu Hanyan still doesn't understand online literature. Although she is young, her limited understanding is that novels are just for printing. I have never been exposed to any online articles. Luo Feng saw that she was quite interested and was not afraid of jokes. He said, you can download it yourself. Search for, my girlfriend broke up at the beginning, I got $10 million. Soon. Lu Hanyan went to search for it. Take a simple look. Just a deep furrow on the brow. What's all this written about? Girlfriends worship money. And then looking down on the male lead, after breaking up, the male lead gained hundreds of billions. Face-slapping girlfriend. No wonder I can instill those realistic ideas into my daughter. My father turned out to be an unscrupulous author. And at this moment, there are several people secretly broadcasting. That's naturally clear. It seems that Luo Feng is not very familiar with this woman. Yeah. Don't even know that Luo Feng is the street-fighting author. Since we don't know each other, why invite us to our house? Keep watching. Anyway, it doesn't seem like cheating. Huang Meiji breathed a sigh of relief when she saw the conversation between her husband and Lu Hanyan. How could her husband cheat? Alright, I won't read any novels you've written here. I don't like this type of genre. Lu Hanyan didn't speak up, but paused and said seriously, what I'm going to talk about today is Mr. Luo's understanding of the fairy tale story, The Woodcutter and His Axe, written by the wealthy boy. Asterisk caret caret asterisk, ladies and gentlemen, husbands, family, and big shots. Vote for some monthly tickets. Come and play in the group. Group ID, 6762092333, end of this chapter. Chapter 7. Shocked. Was Luo Feng the provincial top scorer at the time? You are listening at novel full.audio. Chapter 7 Shocked. Was Luo Feng the provincial top scorer at the time? Of course. The fable in Lu Hanyan's mouth. To put it simply. The story tells of a woodcutter's mother who fell ill and needed to go up the mountain to chop firewood for money. While crossing the bridge, she accidentally dropped her axe into the river, and he was extremely anxious. But later, a river god picked up a golden axe and a silver axe from the river, and asked if the woodcutter had fallen, but the woodcutter always said that his axe was an iron axe. Later, the river god felt that the woodcutter had a noble character, so he gave both the golden and silver axes to the woodcutter. Later, when the villagers found out about such a good thing, they deliberately threw the axe into the river and greedily took the golden axe. However, due to their impatience, the person fell into the river and died on the way back. Of course. The author of the pen name, Scattered Wealth Boy. Now in front of Lu Hanyan. Cough, 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 cough. Oh. Not entirely, right. Your daughter didn't tell me that, Lu Hanyan sneered slightly. Luo Feng now understood what the other teacher was doing here. Your daughter told me that the meaning of this fairy tale is: when encountering a noble person at the low point of life, one must be sincere. And playing tricks and being cunning can only make you miss out on important people. And Luo Qiuqiu said that this truth was told to her by her father as soon as Lu Hanyan's words came out. The current Huang Meiji. And everyone. I also understand. Excuse me, is this a home visit from the teacher? Keep working for half a day. That's when I realized it. Teacher Lu, do you think I understand the meaning correctly? Luo Feng chuckled. In the eyes of 1,000 viewers, there are 1,000 Hamlets. I don't object to your different understanding of the story, but you can't teach children that way, Lu Hanyan said unhappily. That's the question we're talking about today. I hope this distorted fairy tale meaning won't be taught to children anymore. I'm sorry, Teacher Lu, I can teach my own child. Luo Feng saw that she was a bit angry and wanted to drive her away, but at least it was for the sake of his daughter's good, so he didn't get angry. Are you here to teach? Lu Hanyan smiled. I heard that her mother is a key university student. I will tell your wife then that the child can no longer follow your educational philosophy. What's wrong with key universities? I was also the top scorer in the province at the time, and I have my personal understanding of children's education. I hope teachers don't interfere in family education. Luo Feng didn't give the other party face and directly criticized. What? You were the provincial top scorer back then. Lu Hanyan almost widened her eyes. How could she believe it? If she were to become a provincial top scorer, she would still be sitting at home writing those junk online articles. And this kind of dialogue arrived in the live broadcast room. Immediately, there was a great discussion. Asterisk caret caret asterisk, ladies and gentlemen, husbands, family, and big shots. Vote for some monthly tickets. Come and play in the group. Group ID, 6762092333, end of this chapter. Chapter 8. Mysterious Books. Is Luo Feng going to be exposed? You are listening at novel full.audio. Chapter 8 Mysterious Books. Is Luo Feng going to be exposed? Sleeping slot. What's the situation? The provincial top scorer in the college entrance examination back then. Isn't this boastful? High school provincial champion. Now writing novels at home. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Teacher, he saw this and whispered to Huang Meiji beside her, saying, is your husband really the provincial champion back then? That's natural. Huang Meiji was full of face and very proud of her husband. Ah. Really? Then why didn't you tell us? Yang Mi said speechlessly. You didn't ask either, Huang Meiji said. You only asked about my husband's current profession. He does write some online articles at home. What does your husband think? If he were the top scorer in the province, at least he was from Tsinghua University in the beginning, right? After graduation, he would write online articles at home. Isn't this a bit difficult for Reba to cultivate such a talent in the empire? Why not go out and contribute to society? Write some junk online articles. Although there is also some contribution. But the contribution is not significant. I support whatever he does, and I think he will be able to write his grades one day. Huang Meiji may love her house and her daughter, but she can say she's a husband, but others say she's not. Dot. 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 Lu Tianxian was speechless. Teacher, he is even more speechless. Yang Mi could only give a bitter smile. Family members. I checked. The college entrance examination 10 years ago. There is indeed a provincial top scorer named Luo Feng. Sleeping slot. Are you really a top scorer? Unbelievable. I'm afraid today's program is going to explode, isn't it? The provincial top scorer is writing street fighting novels at home. I can only say it's too much talent and too little use. What a waste of the empire's educational resources. A top scorer is writing a street novel at home. The audience spat out their food. No face at all. Completely filled with righteous indignation. Are you really the provincial top scorer in the college entrance examination? Then you should have graduated from Qingbei, right? Although Lu Hanyan was a teacher, she was just a barely qualified student at the beginning. Compared to her peers, the gap was really huge. If it's a fake package exchange, it can be found online, but can it still deceive people? Luo Feng smiled slightly at her excited expression. Teacher Lu, let me say it again. I have my personal understanding of the education model, and I hope you don't interfere in family education. Luo Feng said sharply again, his expression very impolite. Okay. Today was my rudeness. Lu Hanyan's words. Make the live broadcast room speechless again. What kind of teacher? What kind of teacher? Didn't you look like you were going to preach to Luo Feng just now? And then I heard that someone saved the top scorer. You just knelt down. Is this the face? 66666, I thought what a great teacher he was. Thank you, Teacher Lu, for your understanding. Luo Feng saw that she no longer cared about her family education, so the anger on her face must have subsided. It's okay, I'm being rude. Lu Hanyan forced a smile, thinking that she was just an extreme person and reasoning wouldn't work. She needs to talk to Luo Qiuqiu's mother when she has time. Is this just a provincial champion? Still staying at home writing online articles? I guess I was also harshly slapped in the face by reality. And then distort the meaning of fairy tales. And then educate the children, right? It seems like you haven't had lunch yet, have you? Luo Feng smiled and stood up. I'll go to the kitchen and get some simple food. This teacher may be foolish. But he still cares and is responsible for his own daughter. It's pretty good, isn't it? About 20 minutes. A bowl of beef noodles is also finished. Luo Feng went to the kitchen to tidy up the dishes. And the math teacher also brought Luo Feng's daughter home. After all, it stayed from 11.40 to around 12.30. The homework is done. I naturally have to personally deliver it back. Dad, Tuan has returned. There was a milky shout at the door. Let Luo Feng come out of the kitchen. Hello, Teacher Jiang. Luo Feng said, we haven't had dinner yet. We just finished eating, so I'll make it for you. No, no, I won't disturb your home visit. Teacher Jiang, a middle-aged man, looked at Lu Hanyan meaningfully, said hello, and then left. Oh my goodness. Teacher Jiang wouldn't think that I was with Luo Feng. Lu Hanyan succumbed to death in her heart. The expression on the math teacher's face just now. It really scared her. I won't go to school and talk nonsense, will I? No matter what. Really can't fake, what are you afraid of? Ha ha ha. Look at this teacher, he's so cute. She's in a hurry. She's in a hurry. The math teacher seems to be here to catch traitors. But the teachers at this school are quite responsible. Although they left the students to do homework, they actually sent them home. Actually, such a young child shouldn't be so strict, but let him go when he sees the child back. As people online discussed it for a while. Lu Hanyan originally intended to greet Luo Feng, who was washing dishes in the kitchen, and leave. But Tuan Tuan came forward and whispered, Teacher Lu, would you like to help Tuan Tuan? Tuan Tuan, what's wrong with you? Teacher Lu said gently. There are many beautiful books in my dad's room, but he doesn't let me read them. And when I sneak in to read them myself, I find that they are all incomprehensible words, not English. Tuan Tuan pointed to the storage room on the other side of the bedroom. The storage room of the Luo Feng family is very large. And there is a door lock. Isn't that good? Lu Hanyan refused for a moment, let's wait until your dad comes out to wash the dishes. When dad comes out, he won't be allowed to enter in groups. There are many beautiful books inside, Luo Chiochio said, quietly going to dad's bedroom to open the drawer and get the key she had found long ago. Oh no. This little girl is going to do something bad. What books are inside? Is this child so interested? Can't it be that kind of thing? Just naked. Ha ha ha, wait and eat the melon. Soon. After finding the key here, Tuan Tuan opened the door. Quietly pulling the teacher in. Take a closer look. Lu Hanyan can only see that this place looks like a small library. There are many bookshelves. It is approximately over 50 square meters. 1/3 of this house is spent on this storage room. Of course, the storage room is locked without a camera. But when the group opened the room, there is a movable camera to follow. Madam, what is this room used by your husband for? Teacher, he couldn't help but ask Huang Meiji. I only go back a few times a year, and I only heard my husband say that he keeps books, Huang Meiji said unclear. Oh my goodness, it's a bit too wide to have a storage room of over 50 square meters, Yang Mi became curious and continued to observe. Teacher, look at this book. I know it. Isn't it Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs? Luo Chiochio patted her feet and picked up her favorite book according to her memory. After opening it, she asked, but the text inside is so confusing that I can't understand it. Let me help you take a look. Lu Hanyan said, taking over the thick book. Open it. Immediately shocked, asterisk, ladies and gentlemen, husbands, family, and big shots. Vote for some monthly tickets. Come and play in the group. Group ID, 6762092333, end of this chapter. Chapter 9. Various collection editions of fairy tale books. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Various collection editions of fairy tale books. This seems to be Italian, isn't it? Lu Hanyan opened it and took a look. It is indeed the text over there. Of course. Snow White's words naturally belong to Grimm's fairy tales. The pen name Green. So far, no one knows who it is. But it is said to be from within the country. Grimm's fairy tales, Hans Christian Andersen's fairy tales, and the fairy tales of the wealthy boy. These three authors are best at writing representative fairy tales based on Western themes. Lu Hanyan likes these three people very much. She is an elementary school teacher. Nature admires all three people. Teacher, do you understand? What is Snow White talking about? Can you read it to me? Luo Qiuqiu was curious about this book because the Snow White on the cover was very beautiful. Well, the teacher doesn't understand Italian either, Lu Hanyan smiled bitterly. Although she recognized the text, she couldn't understand it. What about this book? I don't even know the characters inside, Luo Qiuqiu said, stepping on her feet and picking up another one. The cover also showed Snow White. Is this the English version? Lu Hanyan was surprised for a moment. Then I went to the bookshelf where the books were taken by Tuan Tuan. Is this the Korean version? Is this the Japanese version? Is this the Russian version? Lu Hanyan seems to have discovered a treasure. There are actually more than 10 versions of Snow White on this bookshelf. They are all over a dozen of the hottest languages in the world. Lu Hanyan continued to observe for a while. Discover the entire bookshelf. All the books are from Hans Christian Andersen, Grimm, and The Wealthy Boy, and each volume has more than 10 versions. The collection of books is quite large. After all, the fairy tales of these three giants are world-renowned, and they are printed in any imperial language. Oh my goodness! Luofeng's storage room. How could there be so many books? If you know the English version, the price should be a bit cheaper because there are still many people in China who buy the English version for children to learn English, but the Russian and French versions have poor sales in China, so the sales are not good, so the price must be expensive. I remember a Russian version costs over 300 yuan per book, right? Yes, the less popular the version in China, the more expensive it is because there are fewer publications. Oh my goodness! There are over a dozen versions in each volume here. So, one set costs 3,000 yuan as a base, right? How much does it cost? Do you want hundreds of thousands? At the scene, Lu Hanyan, unaware that she had been live-streamed, was still picking up a masterpiece by the money-scattering boy to observe. The words of the scattered wealth boy are different from those of the authors Hans Christian Andersen and Grimm. He will publish fables and stories set in ancient Eastern times. For example, books such as The Farmer and the Snake, Magic Pen Ma Liang, Little Horse Crossing the River, Monkey Fishing for the Moon, and so on. There are so many collections of books. I really like the author of The Lost Money Boy. Reba was also ecstatic when she saw these collections. My favorite story when I was a child was Magic Pen Ma Liang. Mrs. Huang's husband actually had a complete set of books in English, France, Russia, and so on. Can you sell me a Spanish book then? In my collection, there is only one Spanish book left. Asterisk. Ladies and gentlemen, husbands, family, and big shots. Vote for some monthly tickets. Come and play in the group. Group ID, 6762092333, end of this chapter. Chapter 10. Discovering the New World. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Discovering the New World. Reba's words. I am relatively young. He's only in his early 20s. It can be said that the books of scattered wealth children are the companionship of childhood, and it is a beautiful memory. After having money, she collected versions of her favorite fairy tales in various languages. Ah! Me, Huang Meiji couldn't speak at the moment, feeling confused. She didn't expect her husband's books to be so expensive. Where did he get the money? Yeah, I also like books about scattered wealth boys, but he stopped publishing them after 1 or 2 years. Lu Tianxian said. When we were in junior high school, many students in our class were assigned other roles, some liked Grimm's fairy tales, some liked Hans Christian Andersen's fairy tales, and some liked the fairy tales of the wealthy boys. 3 literary giants, all published around the same time, one classic after another, like 3 people competing with each other. Hans Christian Andersen published a book called The Little Match Girl, and Grimm immediately published a book called The Frog Prince. The wealthy boy didn't show weakness, so let's start with the story of The Wolf is Coming. Youth. It's completely the youth of our generation. These three giants who competed for the top spot in fairy tales around the world at the same time. They appeared one after another about 15 years ago. But 12 years ago. It was like an agreement was made, and they disappeared together. Everyone doubts whether the three people are the same author. But everyone thinks it's impossible. Because no matter how talented, it's impossible for one person to create so many peerless works. The three celestial beings had a heated discussion. But everyone in the live broadcast room. Speaking of these three fairy tale giants. Naturally, a lively discussion began. Stop talking. Hans Christian Andersen is the god. Everything else is scum. Unfortunately, Hans Christian Andersen has stopped writing and we won't be able to see exciting fairy tales anymore. Yi Qingjie. I said Hans Christian Andersen is better than Grimm, don't you have any objections? Green's popularity is slightly lower, but everyone says Green's symbolism is more profound. Hans Christian Andersen is not as good as the Scattered Wealth Boy. The eternal God still belongs to the Scattered Wealth Boy. Yes, Hans Christian Andersen and Grimm are said to be both Chinese. Why create some fairy tales set in the West? Is it just kneeling and licking the West? Not bad, it's better for me to be a Scattered Wealth Boy. I directly wrote a fairy tale set in ancient China. Yes, both Hans Christian Andersen and Grimm cater to the West, and they even need me to be a lucky boy. Don't say anything about catering to the West, whether Hans Christian Andersen caters to the West or not. The sales of genuine copies in the UK, France, Russia, and other countries have exceeded 310 million copies worldwide. How many copies do you only have for the Lost Money Boy? The Scattered Wealth Boy is not bad either, with good sales in China, with over 80 million copies. Unfortunately, the sales abroad were dismal with only 20 million copies. Right, Hans Christian Andersen catering to the West is just a waste of money. People in the live broadcast room. Actually, it can be divided into two factions. One faction is Hans Christian Andersen and Grimm. And one faction is the Scattered Wealth Boy. The debate conference is average. Just like the meaning of the work, the level of excitement is quite lively anyway. And just as everyone was discussing endlessly. On the scene from Lu Hanyan's side, something new was discovered. Tuan, what is this? After all, the entire house. Excluding the bathroom and bedroom. All have cameras installed. Everyone in the live broadcast room can see it. Upon hearing Lu Hanyan's call, everyone looked towards where she was looking. Does it seem like a trophy? Only visible. On that bookshelf. There are no books. But a trophy with a golden appearance. Asterisk caret asterisk, ladies and gentlemen, husbands, family, and big shots. Vote for some monthly tickets. Come and play in the group. Group ID, 676209233, end of this chapter.